Before I begin this next story, I must warn you, it is a difficult one to hear, with details that are extremely violent and gruesome. On October the 11th of last year, 71-year-old landlord Joseph Czuba in Plainfield Township, Illinois, decided he wanted the Palestinian family residing in his rental space to move out. You may remember that date because it was when US President Joe Biden falsely claimed seeing pictures of beheaded babies from Hamas's October the 7th attack. There were no such pictures. That Palestinian family Czuba wanted to evict consisted of mum and dad Wadee Alfayoumi and Hanaan Shahin, along with their 6-year-old son, Wadia Al-Fayoume. Czuba told his wife, Mary, he was afraid Shaheen's Palestinian friends were going to harm them and was worried about a national day of jihad. Both baseless claims, of course. Still, Czuba's wife reassured the Al-Fayoume family that they were safe and did not need to move out, adding that if anyone was going to move out, it should be her own husband, Joseph. That assurance, however, was short-lived. On Saturday, October the 14th, as Shaheen was giving her 6-year-old son, Wadia, a bath, she heard a knock on the door, where an angry Joseph Czuba waited. Upon answering, the 71-year-old told Shaheen he was angry with her for what was happening in Jerusalem, to which she responded by saying, "Let's pray for peace." Peace, however, was the furthest thing from Czuba's mind. What unfolded after was a crime so ugly, so vile, so disgusting, that I truly believe no adjective can sufficiently describe the level of its evil. Czuba allegedly attacked Shaheen with a knife, stabbing her several times before she managed to lock herself in a bathroom while she dialed 911, unable to have her son by her side as she did so. With his victim now behind a locked door, Czuba allegedly turned his sights away from the mother and towards her 6-year-old son. He then allegedly proceeded to stab the innocent boy 26 times. 26. Deputies arriving at the scene later reported finding Czuba sitting on the ground near the family's driveway. "Mom, I'm fine." Those were Wadia's last words to his mother, according to a family friend. He wasn't fine. Nothing about that day, that incident, that crime was fine. A mother finding out her son had died while she was being treated for stab wounds from her child's killer is not fine. A mother not being able to go to her own son's funeral because she couldn't be discharged from the hospital in time is not fine. A mother seeking justice for her son and not finding it so many months later is not fine. Czuba was charged with 1 count each of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and aggravated battery, and 2 counts of a hate crime. He pleaded not guilty, and his trial is set for September the 18th, pending the completion of a federal investigation into that case. Wadia's father has also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Czuba, his wife, and their property management company. Meanwhile, Wadia's mother, Hanan Shaheen, has been here in Washington, D.C. to attend a hearing by the Senate Judiciary Committee on Hate Crimes in the U.S., where you would think her voice is scheduled to be platformed. It was not. In fact, the announcement for the hearing that was published in May fails to include even one mention of the word Palestine or Palestinian. It's basically all lives matter, despite the fact that anti-Semitic hate crimes do rightly merit their own separate hearing, and despite the fact that Wadia was killed and his mother was stabbed, not just because they were Arab, not just because they were Muslim, but because they were Palestinian. Earlier, I sat down with Hanan Shaheen for a difficult conversation. I'm here in Congress with Maaria Mozaffar, the legislative lead at the Muslim Civic Coalition, who helped put together the hearing in Congress today. And I'm also here with Hanan Shaheen, Wadia's mom. Thank you both for joining us. And let me just begin by saying we are so sorry for your loss, all of us.
God bless you. God bless you.
I just wanted to start by saying, why are you here? Why did you want to come here and offer your support to this hearing?
Yes, all my sisters and brothers in humanity and nice people, they want to see an action taken for Wadia, and they want to say we ever will forget him. We need to seek justice and to pray for peace, and that we're gathering as a family.
Of course. Mm-hmm. And last year, it's almost a year now, October the 14th, a horrific day for you and your family. What is your memory of that day, if you don't mind me asking? How do you, of what happened that day? How do you recall what happened to your family that day?
Yes, it's sadness day. It's sadness day. You doesn't wanna stop in each moment. I put my anger in the investigation on my attorney. I don't want to repeat that with nice people like you, and I don't want to bring the sadness up. I want to share how much in the 6 year and 1 week spending with my child, it was so much love, so much fun, so much family warm feeling.
That is amazing to remember him in that way. And he had just turned 6, I believe,
Yes.
before this all happened.
Yeah, 1 week.
Tell our viewers, what was Wadee like?
Wadee, he was, inspiring child. I said that in many meetings. His teacher will be sending me picture, recording him in the kindergarten and saying, his classmate copying him as he's acting like a boss. And, in young age, I put him in daycare, and his classmate first name was Wadia. First word before they can say their own name. And he was joyful, and he gave so much love.
And we all want to remember him. And Maaria, the Wadee resolution in Congress is all about remembering his name, the tragedy, the crime of what happened to him. What is you were here organizing this hearing in Congress today? What is the status of the resolution that was, I think, introduced in the House and the Senate to mark Wadee Alfayoumi's death?
Right. It's a resolution introduced by Congresswoman Ramirez in the House. And then it was introduced in the Senate in the March of 2024 by Senator Durbin and Senator Duckworth. And it has not moved. Senator Durbin has asked for unanimous adoption. And the key thing about this resolution is that it brings the light to dehumanization. It articulates that dehumanization results from misinformation by elected officials and political rhetoric and connects those dots. And that a child wearing a yarmulke and a child wearing a kafaya should have the same protection in our nation.
And the resolution, explain to our viewers.
It has not moved.
Okay.
And there have been other legislation that have passed through the House very quickly. So we are very, very cognizant of the reality that for some reason, the uplifting of Wadea's story, and perhaps because it is so real and true of what we need to do as a nation to bring people together, that people are uncomfortable pushing the resolution. And we would hope that after this congressional hearing that we saw Wadea's photo, people saw Hanan and met her and saw that the killing of Wadea was an American story, a Palestinian-American story, that people would be moved to say, why haven't we heard about Wadea earlier in the halls of Congress? Why hasn't this resolution moved? It's not even binding law. It just uplifts his heritage, his community, the Palestinian people, and recognizes that the children should have the right to be safe.
Hanan, you didn't speak today at the hearing, I know. The hearing became about all hate crimes, not specifically anti-Palestinian hate crimes, which is a shame. What is your message? We're in Congressman Ramirez's office right now, I should point out to our viewers who sponsored this resolution. What is your message to people in Congress in Washington, D.C. who haven't moved on this resolution? What do you want them to know about Wadea and the importance of remembering Wadea?
I have this attorney to have answer these things, and I will talk about the nice people who I met there, like Durban, and the people who show care for me, and I'm thankful having the nice people.
Yeah.
They covered, give a good feeling and support. To make us continue in our praying for peace and seeking justice way. And the other part, I don't know.
Maaria mentioned that this is a very American story. Wadea was an American child killed in the United States of America. It was a few days after President Biden had talked about beheaded babies. A lot of people were very upset in the Palestinian community. Did President Biden reach out to you? Have you spoken to the president?
Yes, he sent me a letter and filled with kind words. And how I told you, the nice people are here and sent in their kind words. Like, I spoke to Kamala Harris, and yeah, there is many nice people who will, stand in and, showing care and support.
And so President Biden and Vice President Harris have reached out to you.
Yes.
Dare I ask, did Donald Trump? No, I'll take that as a no. Maaria, how disappointed are you as someone who pushed for this hearing, that it's almost like an all lives matter hearing? We have a Palestinian-American child killed. Doesn't merit its own hearing. We've had multiple hearings on anti-Semitism, which is a real problem. But we couldn't have one hearing on anti-Palestinian hate?
Well, let me say what was visible that maybe you may not be able to see through the Senate live stream. And that is that the whole room was filled with students with kafayas and individuals with kafayas. And that Hisham al-Wartani was shot because he was wearing a kafaya.
In Vermont.
And it's a very powerful visual. And we were joined by Mo Amer, who's a Palestinian media personality who speaks the truth on these issues, Imam Omar Soleiman,
yes,
a very notable figure. And we had them all come in this room because we wanted the community to understand that this is their turf as well.
Yes.
And that Wadee was Palestinian. So I'm not disappointed in the way that our community showed up. I'm also not disappointed in what we actually saw happen at the hearing, because it was a breaking open of an echo chamber, and it was breaking open of any type of deception that individuals have been deliberately silencing or misrepresenting or creating a false narrative about Palestinians, Muslims, and Arabs. That was accurate in full display. We wanted to see it front and center, and so they showed everybody who they were. And I hope that the reality actually sits very strongly in individuals and voters to understand that empathy and words of sympathy are great, but policy changes come from substantive discussion in committee hearings that are serious, and that's what needs to be followed.
Well said. One last thing to you. Maaria mentioned Omar Soleiman, Mo Amer. These are prominent Palestinian Americans. As someone living in America as a Palestinian right now, I believe you grew up in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. As someone who lives in the United States today as a Palestinian, how do you feel as a Palestinian in America today?
No, surely I'm good. I'm living as American. I'm living as American life. Yeah. So was how I told you, the nice people
Yes.
still here. There is support, and the nice human are around us. It's like, it's the situation happened exactly to show us that still there is nice people, even
Even after the horrible
yes,
stuff that
yeah, it's there is two sides. Always there is two sides, and
I admire your positivity after such tragedy. One last thing, just how do you want people? We're here to remember Wadia. The resolution is for Wadia. You're here to. How do you want people to remember little Wadia?
He was a lovely boy, and full of love, full of fun, and as Muslim, and this is the way that our God wants us to share love, to be good to people, to say good words to people, and yes, I'm teaching my children this way. Yeah.
Amazing, and we appreciate your time, and our condolences to you and your family again.
God bless you.
For what you've gone through. Hanaan Shahin, Maaria Mozaffar, thank you both for your time.
Yes, God bless you.
Thank you.